Wyoming tickets for you. About a half an hour or so. People hit me up to get the last pair of tickets for those. The show's December the 5th at the Agora. Guardians play tonight. They're back home at the friendly confines. They did not have a good time against the Yankees in New York, but maybe they'll have a better time against the Tejas Rangers tonight. That is a first pitch at 7:10 here in MMS, so we'll roll out around 6:30, and then 6:40 is when your pregame coverage will begin. You can listen here on the Buzzard, of course, and on the iHeartRadio app. If you're so inclined, if you listen to us on the app, tell me where. Make sure that I like to shout out our bureau chiefs. Tammy listens in Tyler, Texas. Sarah is in Rawlins, Wyoming. Mufasa listens in Houston, Texas.
Anybody in Spokane?
We sure do. Are you going to be in Spokane?
I'm going to be in Spokane.
Spokane. Bill.
Spokane?
Yeah, Spokane.
I'm going to keep saying Spokane.
Cassie is our bureau chief in Spokane, Washington.
I'll be out there in second week of September, 12th through the 16th.
The 12th through the 16th of September.
I get back on the 16th, but I'm headlining a show on the 15th, and the rest of the time is with this dork, Chad Daniels.
Dork. All right. I'll make myself a note then. Yeah, Spokane, Washington, and the whole bit. Alan Mary says she's a woman, but her blurry prostate photos say otherwise.
I told you not to worry about my prostate.
Oh, there is that. I worry about a lot of things with respect to you. I worry about your prostate. Mm-hmm. I worry about your gambling.
Don't worry about my gambling.
Are you worried about your gambling?
I'm not worried about my gambling, but I did. I think I might have screwed up with the money.
You spent too much of it.
I spent all of it.
You know you didn't.
Your face, dude.
Did you really?
No.
Okay.
I did not.
All right. Well, bills. I don't know.
Your head whipped around so fast. You were like, you just had it 3 days.
It's also not unbelievable that you would run through that money very quickly.
$9,000? You think I'd run through $9,000 in 4 days?
Manic Mary can do some
4
crazy
days.
stuff.
And
yeah.
I've been on the show every day. I haven't taken a day off. So you're saying...
Yeah, but we don't know what you're doing at night. You could...
Between radio?
Go back down to Jersey and do some more gambling and see what happens.
No, I didn't mean
Between radio and shows.
I didn't mean you blew it at the strip club. Like maybe you paid off a chunk of some debt or something. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
That was very funny. That one was for me. I liked that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
I pulled a Brian on you there.
I got to see you guys in person do it. Not even on a delay. No, so my bank is PNC, and we don't have any in New York City. Mm-hmm. So I had all that cash, and then I had I'd saved up all my cash from my shows. I haven't spent any of my comedy money. I've been saving the cash I get paid for comedy spots in the city. So I brought all that cash with me to deposit into my bank.
Why not open an account in New York with that money?
Well, I have a Chase Bank, but that's for comedy money. I keep my comedy money and my life money separate. Huh?
You said you had a bunch of comedy money, though.
Right, but I just had all the cash. So I was like, screw it, I'm just going to do one big deposit, right?
Yeah.
And also I can transfer from bank to bank, right?
Why don't you just deposit it into the Chase Bank?
It's harder to transfer from Chase out than it is the other way around. It takes like a full week. Anytime I've tried to transfer money from my Chase account to my PNC account. It's always taken like a lot of time.
Get on that, Chase. It's the digital age. Come on, man.
You can't just do it. Yeah, that's weird.
It's unbelievable how fast.
You can do it in an app, but it has to it takes a couple days, whereas other ones it's like right away.
Usually you can use like Zelle and it'll do it like
I don't have Zelle set up on my
set it up, it's easy.
Chase. I have it's like external transfer or something like that.
Yeah, do Zelle. It's so much easier.
I don't think PNC does Zelle.
No, PNC does have Zelle.
They do.
I have Zelle for that app.
Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever
it is.
We're going down getting in the weeds here.
I brought a lot of cash with me, and I went to go deposit it today, and
it was all gone?
It was, no. I'm a poor person, so I've never had this amount of money before. I had $12,000, and I went to deposit it, and they had to call over a manager and get all this approval, and they were asking me all these questions.
Aren't a lot of people walking in with $12,000 in cash?
Asking me where all the money came from, and I have to prove my employment status, and I was like, they're like, yeah, we have to do this for anything over $10,000, and I'm like, I would have just given you $9,000 if I'd have known that. So now, what happens with that?
I think it's like customs. You can't carry more than 10 either. They'll pull you aside if you try to take a bunch of money through customs.
If you try to go out of the country, yes.
Something like that.
You'll get your money.
But someone was saying something about it being taxed again. That it gets reported to the IRS, and even though that money's already taxed through the casino, because I deposited it all at once, that the IRS will count it as taxable income twice.
Oh.
But I don't know if that's true or not. I've never, ever deposited more than like $500 at a time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see if you guys knew or if any of the listeners knew if I totally just screwed myself and I'm going to end up paying taxes on this money twice.
This one's going to have to go to the listeners. I never deposited $12,000 cash.
Neither have I.
No, not cash.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I know they put like a hold on stuff. You know, I've had big checks or moved things around and had, and it'll take a few days, but I don't know if they're going to. I think they leave that up to you. I don't think the bank is going to say, hey.
Well, they took all that, and I asked them why they were asking so many questions, and they said, we have to report anything over $10,000 in cash to the IRS.
Okay.
If nothing else, you gave those people, that's the most action they've seen in that bank lobby in months, probably.
Oh, I went to high school with both the ladies' sons.
You did?
Yes, they
their
both
sons,
recognized me, and they were like, oh, you know my son Mike. Yeah, you know my son. And I'm like, oh, tell him I said hi. Can you waive whatever this process is?
Right, and they're going to tell their sons, Mary Santora came in with $12,000 in cash.
Well, if they're following any of the show or the social media, they would know that.
Yeah.
But I was like sitting there and I can't, because I was in the bank for like 25 minutes and my sister was like, what the heck happened? I was like, I think I just screwed myself. I was like, because if I'd have known that, I would have just done 2 smaller deposits.
Right.
Melissa said on the live chat that no, it will not be taxed.
What does Melissa do?
She works at a convenience store.
She's on the live chat, so probably nothing that would have any authority on this.
It has nothing to do with taxes, this texter said. It's a currency transaction report that's required by the Bank Secrecy Act.
You're
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
It's just paperwork they have to do if somebody brings in an amount that
money.
large. They may do it to make sure people aren't money laundering.
Well, that's what I Googled, where I was like, why can't you deposit more than, and it's like, not that you can't, but they had to like take down my license information.
You couldn't just say like, I have to make 2 deposits. One for $9,999.
I'll be
and
right
one for
back.
$2,001.
During my post,
Said I had a really good week and my pimp wants me to get this in my account. Toot sweet.
I don't think pimps like it when you use accounts.
I think you're probably right. They get
they're
screwed up
big
by the
on
money
Zells.
laundering. It's that Bank Secrecy Act.
But no, because I Googled it and it said it's $10,000 worth of deposits in a 30-day period. So if you were to do 5 $2,000 deposits in the same 30 days, that would flag it too. And they would also have to report that. So the only way to get around it would be to wait a full month, deposit $9,000, and then
next time
34 days later.
Give the cash to me.
Get
I'll
the check
take
next
care
time.
of it.
Just get the check next
I
time.
could just get the check next time.
Yeah, check
But no,
next
that would
time.
probably do the same thing.
But you're handing them a check with the name of the casino on it and the thing, and it's
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think it's because of the cash.
I was worried that I was going to have to pay
more
double taxes
yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Because I'm like, why else report it to the IRS if you're not going to try to get me? What does the IRS need to know? If you're not going to get me to try to pay taxes on this, why does the IRS need to know about it?
Yeah, what do they need to know? Really?
This is between me and All Aboard Slot Machine. This got nothing to do with you, IRS.
That's right.
Melissa is the VP of Admin and Ops. So
At what?
For what company?
I don't know. I'm just telling you what she's
VP of
telling me.
Admin and Ops.
At where?
Yeah.
I mean, that
like
could be at
opposition, like
Circle
you know
K.
how people have like Circle K is a pretty big company. That would be a pretty good job.
Yeah, but I'm saying she doesn't work with money. If she's not in the banking system.
I trust her.
If she's
Melissa.
in the C-suite, she probably knows what she's talking about.
But yeah, that made me very nervous. Where I was like, I swear to God, if I just double friggin' 30% tax myself and I give away 60% of this money, I'm going to be furious.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, but what did they tell you?
They said they had to report it to the IRS. That's all that they said.
Okay.
I don't know that they've ever done. Well, the manager knew what to do, but the lady who was doing my transaction had to call the manager
Your
over.
friend's mom?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
Sir, these are my friends' moms. Could we please, could we find a way to speed this up, expedite this procedure? Hey, Bill.
Hey, Al. Hate the show.
Thank you.
Mary, I have an answer to your problem. So the way the IRS does it, any deposit over $10,000 or $10,000 is the limit, then the banks have to report it. So if you deposit $1 million in a year and you make $22,000 for a year, that's how they catch you on unreported income.
Is this just cash, Bill, or if she had a check for that amount, would it be the same thing?
Just cash. Cash is king.
Yep.
That's why people hide it under their floorboards and their pillows.
That's what I do.
They're not going to tax you, Mary.
So it's just to cover their own ass. In case I'm laundering money, they can say, hey, we did our part. We told you she deposited $10,000. Well, because they
Right,
asked me for my employment. They're like, where do you work? We need to know, like, they needed to, like, verify both of my employment statuses. And I was like, well, I work on radio and I do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, bitch, you made $23,000 last year. Where'd you get this
I was going to say, you handed them $12,000 and they go, so this is your whole year's money from radio, right? That sounds about correct.
Right. But that's the stupid banks. Banks are your enemies, everyone. They're not your friendly neighborhood bankers anymore. But that's part of their rules that cover their butts. So that's common gambler's problem. But like you said, Mary, you'll spend more in a year losing money than you ever would to tax that amount.
So then that's my question is, should I just keep hiding money in my walls?
Yes. I mean, quite frankly.
You should have brought in the giant, large win check that you got from the casino.
I asked them, I was like, can I take this with me? And they're like, no, because it's like dry
It's like a
erase.
whiteboard.
It's
Yeah.
dry erase.
Yeah, they fill it in. All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Bill.
You're welcome.
All right, there you go. Somebody texted me that, remember the situation from Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
That's how he and his brother got busted. They
Depositing too much money?
No, they kept depositing $1 under the max limit. And people were like, wait, there's something going on here. Because he did a little stretch, didn't he, inside?
He wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
Did he really?
It was, he used the situation in the...
My Financial Situation? Is that what it was called?
Reality check, making the best of the situation. That's what it was called. How I overcame, it's a big, long, how I overcame addiction, loss, and prison.
Oh, pardon me. I wonder if he got his plastic surgery done in prison. Looks like what they did to the Joker in the Tim Burton Batman.
Oof.
But yeah.
If you do multiple smaller deposits, it's considered structuring, and that's a tactic that money launderers use, and that's why they'll investigate that.
Just don't make money. That's the key.
But that's, okay, so this is why it's frustrating, where I'm like, there are literal billionaires. They have to be doing more than this.
Well,
Are they getting flagged on every single deposit over 10 grand?
No, but they have their own army of tax lawyers who know every single bit of chapter and verse of the extraordinarily Byzantine American tax code.
And they're not
too.
depositing billions of dollars into a checking account.
A PNC.
They're sending it to their hedge fund guy or
In
whatever.
Berea.
No, they're buying apartment buildings and laundering the money that way.
Yeah.
That's why Trump was selling all of his apartments to Saudi princes. It's money laundering.
Oh, I'm not laundering
Real
anything.
estate is the easiest way to launder money.
Okay. Well, that made me very nervous. My mom got me all hyped up. She said, they're going to take your taxes out.
You should have told them it was a gift.
I think that's worse.
No, I think if you're gifted money, there's probably some loopholes there, or maybe maybe not. I don't know. But I know that there's people who have been like, oh, this was a gift.
I think being honest was the way to go. I think you'll be fine.
When it comes to money and
Yeah.
banks and the IRS.
I found it on the street.
Yeah.
This is on the ground.
I wanted to get it into an account as quickly as
if you're like,
possible.
a gift from who? And you're like, then
Tom?
yeah. I saw feet pics and yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Mary should
good.
know about the $10,000 cash deposit because she's watched Ozark. All right.
I have watched Ozark, but I've never personally had enough money at one time to do this. This is the first time in my life.
To
And I
roll
felt
around
like
in
such a
it
freak. I
and-
took pictures of it on my phone.
Yeah.
I felt like such a baller. I'm like holding it up myself, like a
Was
gangster rapper.
it in hundreds? Was it,
was
all
all
hundreds?
hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
There's no way to know how many that is for $10,000,
Guess.
but nevertheless.
guess.
50?
Close.
A PNC employee says they won't tax it.
Okay.
So.
Okay, good. Okay, if a PNC employee says that, then that's fine.
And,
If a millionaire
And-
deposited $1 million in cash, yes, they would be checked out, same as anybody else. But they don't do that. They do it other ways.
They launder it.
Launder it. Yeah.
So I'm not going to jail for having
No,
No,
money.
you're not
for
going
having
to
money.
jail. No.
Like this poor bitch has money, send her to jail. What are you doing?
Uh-huh. I'm sorry. How did you? I'm looking right at you, ma'am. You're wearing a hoodie. How did you end up with $12,000 in cash? It doesn't make sense.
Well, okay. Well, thank you.
Well, good.
Customers.
We've crowdsourced it. I'm sure everyone who's given us their information is completely on the level and knows exactly what they're talking about.
Probably.
And there won't be any speed bumps whatsoever. Banks are required to check every deposit over $10,000.
So there's that.
It's part of
texter-
teller training. I had to do it, this person said.
I think that texter is implying both check and cash.
Probably so.
probably.
Next time, deposit.
Criminals out there screwing it up for us hard-working gamblers.
Yeah, but their full-time job is Their full-time job is figuring out how to get around all of the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And then they figure that out, and they got to come up with new stuff.
Yep.
Ooh, Shark Tank for criminals.
There you go.
Be a fun show.
All right, I'm going to break. I want to go see In This Moment. Maria Brink and the boys are bringing some bands with them, but they'll be your headliner. First week of December at the Agora. Hand those off for you. Around 3:20. Had the